You know, Larry, when I was a little girl, I wasn't allowed to talk at my grandfather's Shabbos table.
What do you mean?
Well, my grandfather, your great-great-grandfather, would always have these special guests for dinner.
Were they important people?
Oh, yes. They were, although at the time I didn't know that. The adults would have these loud, contentious conversations late into the night, and while we children stayed quiet. Don't speak until you are spoken to. That was the rule that we were taught. It was just how it was then. We found out years later that with all that yelling and all that carrying on, we were having dinner with leaders such as David Ben-Gurion and Golda Meir.
Wow, so your grandfather was also a Zionist?
Yes, he was raising money for Israel years before 1948. Zionism is in your blood, and it's also in my blood. You know, there are two things in my life that have transcended all other experiences. The first was becoming a mother to your mother and her siblings, and then becoming a grandmother to you and your brothers. The second is becoming a founding mother of Zukim. In the United States, I am mom. Thank you. In the United States, I am mom, and as you call me, mamam. But in Israel, I'm Ima Zukim. I'll tell you how that happened. After I went to college, I got married and started a family. And like my parents and grandparents before me, I began to fundraise for the people of Israel. For nearly 4 decades, I helped organize the annual Jewish National Fund Tree of Life dinner in Philadelphia. We got people excited about JNF's work. We sold trees. We sold lots of trees. But that was the extent of my involvement with Jewish National Fund. Then 2 decades ago, something extraordinary happened. At the urging of the Jewish National Fund leadership and Ronald Lauder, the president at the time, 16 women and I formed the Sapphire Society, the major gift division for women. We were determined to deepen our commitment to JNF. We wanted to direct our giving. We wanted to engage and inspire women across the country to get behind our cause and to make major gifts. After 9 months, we had brought together 40 women to donate a minimum of $5,000 each in support of our project. There was just one problem. We had no idea what that project was going to be. This is how I became Ima Zukim. While we didn't have a project, we had passion, we had funds, and we were raising more and more funds. Because when you ask a woman to join and lead, they do. That is the power of the JNF women. So in January of 1999, 9 ladies, Sapphire ladies, went to Israel to find the project that we wanted to develop. On our first day together, we traveled to a small Israeli town that was looking to build a soccer field for its youth. No good. Another included us in its first ever olive harvest as they discussed plans to expand their world-class olive oil manufacturing facility. Not us. We went all across the Negev looking for the perfect project, to find the cause that would resonate with and excite our ladies back home. Nothing felt exactly right until we went to Israel's south, to the Arava Desert to be specific, where we met 2 young men who wanted to build a community and to develop the land on an abandoned army base. They wanted to raise their children as pioneers, Halutzim, like the Israelis of old, and just like they were raised. And it definitely fit into the plan of Jewish National Fund that we already had, Blueprint Negev, designed to bring 500,000 people to the Negev. It all came together on our last night with a gentleman named Shai Ben Aliyahu, the mayor of the Central Arabah at the time. He was a big dreamer who was so determined to meet us that he drove from a family function in Haifa to meet us at our hotel at midnight in Tel Aviv. Shai sat with us in the hotel lobby, his hands wrapped around his elbows, rocking back and forth. He looked like a parent holding a sick child in a hospital room. As a young man, he wanted to build a kibbutz in the Negev, but the regional council in the area would not give him permission to do it. He couldn't understand why. He was carrying out the dream of Israel's founder, David Ben-Gurion, who believed that the future of Israel was in building the Negev. So Shai wrote a letter to Ben-Gurion. When he didn't get an answer, he drove to the aged Israeli leader's home and handed it to him. Ben-Gurion was furious when he heard what happened. He, Israel's founding prime minister, drove down to the regional council to make it very clear how important it was that this project was approved. In 1959, Shai was granted the land, and he built his community, Ein Yahav, the first community of the Central Arabah region. In its heyday, in the 70s, nearly 750 children were in the schools in the rugged desert town. But once those children went into the army and they visited the big Israeli cities, Jerusalem, Tel Aviv, Haifa, they didn't come back home. They didn't want to be farmers like their parents. And after 2 decades in existence, the community shrunk to less than 300 children. The area was dying, not thriving. We women looked at each other with tears in our eyes. Yes, this would make a difference. This would make a difference in the lives of the people in the Arabah. Yes, this was our project. We would build a new town, a secular, non-agricultural town in the Negev, the first one in 24 years. We would build it on that abandoned army base along Route 90. We would build it for Shai and his big dreams. We would build it and fulfill Ben-Gurion's dream. When we dedicated the town in 2001, there was nothing there. We had a wooden door frame erected so we could affix a mezuzah. The mezuzah to be hung on the doorpost of the first home to be occupied in our new community. When you looked through that door frame, miles of desert loomed beyond. Where some might have seen sand, the Sapphire women saw homes. We saw children playing in the park. We saw the dream come true. It took years of hard work, years. But now, Zucchine is completely sold out. 175 homes. That is Jewish National Fund. That is the power of the JNF women. Larry, you were only 8 years old at the time of the dedication in 2001 when you were with me. 2 years later, you and your brother, Joshua, came back with me on a Queen of Sheba mission. In fact, You both gave a prepared speech about how much JNF and Zucchine meant to me. Building Zucchine has been one of the most transformative experiences of my entire life. I've done something for my people and my homeland. I've made my mark. I've created a legacy, and I brought people along with me. I've made lifelong friends. JNF Sapphire Society now counts thousands of women as members and has raised more than $192 million. These women have answered the call to strengthen Israel. Together, we are forging the future of the Jewish state. Throughout my life, I have served on the boards of many organizations, but none of them like Jewish National Fund. JNF made me Ima Zucchine. Larry, since my children and you and your brothers were taken care of by your great-grandmother and your grandfather, I have bequeathed all of my estate to Jewish National Fund. My money will go to the land and people of Israel through JNF. It will help build up this nation, our nation, that was founded when I was 10 years old. This nation that my parents and my grandparents dreamed of. Zionism is not just my heritage, it's my mark, it's my legacy, it's my calling. And Jewish National Fund is my voice in Israel and answers that call.